Taking a break from wheat. Break crops for wheat include a range of pulses such as lupins, fava beans, lentils, chickpeas and field peas, canola and oats, as well as vetch and clover species. The key benefits of break crops in our cropping systems include increasing cumulative gross margins for a crop sequence, improving nitrogen accumulation and cycling, spreading price risks across commodities, management of herbicide-resistant grasses, improved disease and pest control by changing host plants, and easier crop establishment in retained stubble due to reduced stubble loads. Selecting break crops. The choice of break crop species should take into account the paddock history of weed species, weed-resistant status, disease and insect pests, economics of the crop, stubble load and type of opener. A review of break crops showed wheat following canola increased yield by 0.8 of a tonne per hectare compared to wheat after wheat, and wheat after legumes increased yield by 1.2 tonnes per hectare. Work carried out by FarmLink in the GRDC project, maintaining profitable farming systems with retained stubble in New South Wales Southwest Slopes and Riverina, focused on break crop benefits in stubble retained systems and has provided some tips and tactics to maximise the benefits. Crop sequences, which include brassica and/or legume break crops, have been shown to be as profitable and in many instances more profitable than continuous wheat. Break crops offer flexible management options in stubble retained systems. These include low-risk options such as growing vetch for hay, grain or brown manure, or legumes for stock feed, or higher-risk options such as growing value pulse crops for human food such as chickpeas, lentils and fava beans. All can be profitable and depend on what you are trying to achieve. Nutrient cycling. The use of nitrogen-fixing legumes provide a cost-effective supply of nitrogen to reduce dependence on nitrogen fertilisers. Legumes contribute to the total nitrogen content of cropping soils when the amount of nitrogen fixed exceeds the nitrogen harvested in grain. The amount of nitrogen mineralised from legume residues that becomes available for a subsequent crop is dependent on the type of pulse crop, whether it is grown for grain or brown manure, amount of rainfall, temperature over summer, and legume species. Weed management. Canola is the most significant break crop for weed management in cereal crops because of the numerous herbicide and varietal choices. Hybrid canola varieties are more vigorous, which assist them emerge through stubble, produce more early dry matter and ensure early canopy closure. Pulse crops can also be a good choice when managing grass weeds, as they can be sprayed with selective grass herbicides, brown manured or cut for hay prior to weed seed set. Disease management. The main wheat diseases that cause problems are the cereal root diseases, crown rot, take-all, rhizoctonia, and the leaf disease yellow leaf spot. Establishing wheat in sequence with canola or pulse crops will reduce pathogens and weeds. Paddock selection, sowing resistant varieties, application of fungicides to treat seed and fertiliser, plus the timely application of foliar fungicides are critical to protecting all crop types. Crop monitoring is essential. Break crop establishment in stubble. Poor establishment of small seeded crops such as canola can be a problem in stubble retained systems. Pulse crops tend to establish more easily into heavy wheat stubbles compared to either wheat or canola crops. Establishing large seeded pulse crops such as fava beans, lupins and field peas into a cereal stubble can also assist in reducing the stubble by mineralisation, allowing crops such as canola to be established easier the following year. Herbicide residues in soil and straw. Residues from herbicides used in the current or previous cropping phase can impact on the choice of subsequent crops. The risk of crop damage cannot be ignored, particularly where rainfall has been minimal. Canola and other pulse crop types differ in their sensitivity to residual herbicides. Insect pests. Alternating crops will change the spectrum of pests that are present. Canola and some pulses attract more insects and mites than cereal crops. Before sowing, the risk factors that need to be considered include the previous crop type, the amount of stubble in the paddock, in-paddock weeds that have developed over summer, weeds around the edge of the paddock, and the history of insect damage and insecticide use in the paddock. Retaining stubble is expected to increase the likelihood of pest outbreaks, dependent on the extent to which the conditions become more suitable for pest species and unsuitable for beneficials. More extensive reading on break crops in stubble retained systems can be found on the FarmLink website www.farmlink.com.au in the Projects tab under the Maintaining Profitable Farming Systems with Retained Stubble section. A guideline titled Break Crops in Stubble has been published along with resources for additional reading.